2011. I want to bring to you a couple concepts I've been thinking of. And so these are original concepts as regarding time, travel, and the bending of space, and what have you. It's very interesting what I've learned. You know, talk about a subject here. You put it into its place. You sort it out, and then you come to a conclusion based on the information that I give. Okay, here's the theory. You know how Einstein said that you could like bend space, how you could bring one end of space to another end of space and just fold it, and therefore you make the distance much shorter, so you could actually travel great distances through time. Um, the concept comes from learning about this Planet X system that's present in our solar system today, and the effects that it has on gravity, and how it pertains maybe to some of the ideas Nikola Tesla had about the energy, the special charge that the gravity itself, or the ethereal medium, has. What I discovered, and I think Zecharia Sitchin had proposed the path of nibiru, and this is what it's all about. We know it's there. YouTube's got 1911 911 on their new logo today. I find that fascinating. These hidden messages, but obviously they don't want anybody to know what they mean. The proposed path of Elenin takes it around the sun. I believe the proposed path that Zecharia Sitchin had proposed was not around the sun. So I begin to theorize a little bit and try to understand the meaning of, the physics of it, of course, the quantum physics aspect and the formula that pertain to it. I'm thinking now that the projected path of Elenin is wrong, and I'd like to state that I don't believe Elenin is even Elenin. I mean, there's so many comets, these reoccurring comets that come around every 6 years. Doesn't make much sense to me anymore. I'm specifically talking about Temple 1 and Hartley 2. These are massive objects, and the density of these objects are very high, and therefore the electrical potential is exceedingly high also. Now, when we're talking about one object, or two objects, our sun and a binary sun, we're talking about one object having a higher charge than the other. Each one has a positive charge, so when they come together, there has to be a force pushing them together. Well, as it turns out, we're in between that force, and that force is a pressure on gravity density, the density of gravity, or the ethereal medium, as Tesla had specified. I'm trying to put it together for you because it's really interesting. The compression of space, and therefore the compression of space-time, and then therefore perhaps the expansion or the compression of the ethereal medium itself puts you in a state that you're in between the physical and the metaphysical, so to speak. You actually become the electrical potential and the electrical charge that's surrounding gravity. And there's a picture painted on that space of time. We're writing that time and that space right now in our history. So I find it very fascinating that during the time when these two massive objects or system of objects come close together, they give a compression in space-time itself. So when Einstein had proposed that you can create these wormholes, I've taken it a step further, and I think this may be a little bit more accurate. And we're going to take two magnets, north and north, and try to press them together. And we're going to put the Earth right in between. We're going to call that space-time. And what we're going to do is we're going to compress it. And when we do that, we bring the layers of space-time, or the plane line theory, into existence. Plane lines are discussed in one of the lectures that I put up, and they're reference to like the lines of gravity, or the electrical potential of gravity itself. So when I propose now that the compression of space-time happens in this manner, where two objects press together, and therefore in between you create that compression in space-time and bring one end of space closer to the other end of space, because these lines start to stack up tighter and tighter, and therefore all we need to do is compress those lines, and we can travel great distances. If we expand those lines of force, then we can create a kind of levitation, in my opinion. And that's where the anti-gravity comes from. So as this object comes closer to us, we're experiencing a great awakening, metaphysically, because of the compression of gravity waves and information that's actually layered in those waves. So when they come closer together, we accelerate our minds, and we catch up to the present day, and in that present day, we then create our future. As it turns out, we're children are always behind the timeline and always trying to catch up. We, as a society, are also in experiencing the same thing, where we're still trying to catch up with time. At this point now, the compression of time and distance and space has become evident. So the subject comes up during the speculation of two large potentials in space, one being, for instance, the sun at a +4 charge, and the other being a system of objects being a +3 charge. They're accelerated very fast. So when the other binary star comes close to us, it kind of wants to push the sun away, and the sun kind of wants to push it away. I think Zecharia Sitchin proposed that the system of planets never goes around the sun, and I'm beginning to think the exact same thing. And that's because once you get to a certain point, you can't press any harder, and so the sun responds and pushes it away at a certain distance. In the lecture itself, there's talk about a line of force that actually is zero And therefore, once you get to that point, you don't have to do any more work to get it to go any further. But can we, has the binary system overcome that? The force enough to get it at a distance where there is no more force? I don't think this is the case. If that happens, then it would probably crash into the sun. If it goes around the sun, I don't see how it can go around the sun and how that would have had such a great effect on local gravity itself or the equilibrium. So the proposed theorem now is that the compression of space density and flux density is the result of the compression of these plane lines, and as we bring them closer together due to high potential charges that are opposing, we compress those lines, and time and distance becomes shorter. The other thing I wanted to address was the other day there was a aurora borealis that was purple. For a couple of days, though, the auroras became this brilliant purple color. And in one of my movies, I was discussing the rarefication of the gases in the atmosphere caused by the melting of the methane in the oceans and the natural gas and the sulfur dioxide. And I stated that they would become rarefied, and as time goes on, we would have our proof. Creation of O3, which is caused by an electrification of a magnetic gas or a sulfuric gas, and these are ionizing forces. So once you add the radiation from the nuclear plant, you're actually increasing the radio noise and also increasing the rarefication effect. So O3 is now being produced at a much greater rate. It seems like it's all doom and gloom, but at this point, I'm expecting the April 6, 2010 earthquake to mirror, and therefore that puts it at or about April 17th, 2011, a mirror earthquake that hit Indonesia and Baja California. So America, take warning, turn off the plants. If you're going to have an earthquake there, you don't want to have a lot of fire because you ain't going to have nobody there to put them out, and you're going to have looting. So turn off the water, turn off the gas mains, close off nuclear plants, at least cut them down to, you don't want another complete meltdown or 5 more. Do you? Do you really want to kill off the people and the inhabitants of the earth? That would be pretty frightening. As this compression of space and time continues, as the object continues to get closer, or who knows, there could be apparitions and ghosts that are amongst us here on Earth, and people may start to see things. That's another theory that goes with the compression of space and time, because now you're dealing with dimension, and it's going to be pretty scary. People, it's time to get your butt ready and just be prepared. And by doing so, we save lives, and that's why I'm here. I might not save my own, but if I save at least one, then it was well worth it. Okay. Have a great day.